The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. I'm Andy MacNeil here on weekdays on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts, providing NHL projections, picks, betting advice, and strategies to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. Big slate on Tuesday, of course. We touched on it on Monday's show. We're going to get into it a little bit more here on today's show, and we'll look ahead to Wednesday's NHL action. We've got 3 games on the docket for Wednesday. I've got one play that I like for one of those 3 games, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. Jake, how are you doing today?
Feeling good, feeling good. Like the Habs won again. They're unstoppable. Basically, the NHL's best sleeper team. Don't sleep on them because they're coming to get you.
They're coming to get you. Yeah, I should have bet the Habs last night. Um, did not lock that one in officially, and they of course get the job done against the Winnipeg Jets. The Seattle Kraken did not get the job done. They teased us. They got it into overtime after trailing 3-1. They came back, tied the game 3-3. I thought they were the better team overall based on um, just based on the pressure that they kind of put on the Dallas Stars and the fact that they were able to tie the game, get it into overtime. But Dallas's shooting power, shooting talent reigned supreme in that one. And Seattle plus 160 half unit play. That was a loser. But you know what? Let's pull up the betting record here because things have seemed kind of slow lately. But really, I mean, it's still been a great season, and there is absolutely nothing to complain about here. Even myself, I felt like, oh, things are going a lot worse than they have been lately. We're still, hitting 55% of our wagers overall, 10%, 10.4% return on investment, a little over 15 units in the bank right now. 75 and 60. That's a 55.6% win rate at average odds plus 107, 48.2%. So the odds of our bet that says we should win about 48.2% of our bets. We're winning, almost 56% of our bets. So it's been good. 2.8% closing line value on average. Closing line value frequency. We're beating the closing line around 66% of the time. So look, it's been a good season overall. We're roughly 3 months in and up 15 units, 10% return on investment. It's been a great season, really. So very happy with the results. And I really, as much as I think it's healthy to kind of zoom out, doing the show here and with the promotion of it at all, I kind of judge things whether or not do I have any big wins to talk about, etc. And there hasn't been a lot of those lately. There hasn't been any big, of course we had those big, 5-0, 4-0, 6-1, 8-1 nights earlier this season, and they were fun to promote. But it seemed kind of slow lately. But I mean, we're still chugging along. Even over the last month, it's been profitable. It's just been a little bit slow recently, losing more bets than we're winning. But that's okay. That happens. There are going to be stretches like that. Hopefully, we'll find some value for Wednesday's picks like we did on Tuesday, because we've got a bet on the Philadelphia Flyers, who were available at plus 170 at NorthStar Bets, the sponsor of this show. You can check out NorthStar Bets in the link via the link in the description below. They offer early odds on the next day's NHL game, so we're going to be using their odds on this show. But we got plus 170 on the Flyers yesterday on the money line to beat the New Jersey Devils. The Devils are the Devils. They're down to minus 172. The Flyers down to plus 143. Exactly where the model thought it should be yesterday. If we could pull up the projections on the screen for Tuesday, Jake. The Flyers plus 140. That's where the model thinks it should be today. And a big reason for that is we've got a little more certainty here on what the Flyers lineup is going to look like. Of course, Couturier expected to play. He's a little bit banged up. Took a slap shot to the midsection in Sunday's game against the Red Wings, but it looks like he is going to play. At least Tortorella expects him to play. Travis Sanheim, he's going to play as well. He's been battling an illness. Carter Hart, no word on whether he will start yet or not, but he's been out for a couple of games, but he's had a couple of days off on top of that. So I'm expecting him to be back here on Tuesday. Hopefully that's the case. Have gotten burned by some Samuel Urson starts. Not that he is not I think he's a competent goaltender, all things considered, but I want to know, I want to have a better idea. I want to have more, if I make a bet where I'm confident that Carter Hart is going to be in goal, I'd like that to happen, right? I don't want to be surprised by the backup goaltender. So hopefully Carter Hart will be in goal here. But yeah, not a lot of value, no value really on the Flyers at this point. But we've got a great bet down, and if you were if you watched the show yesterday, like you should have, then you've got some real nice value heading into this one. And that remains my best bet for Tuesday. Look, this show is all about line prediction, odds prediction. I spend hours working before I even open up the sportsbook app to look at what odds are being offered on each game. I make my own odds like an odds maker, and then I go compare them to the sports books. And unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't result in a lot of bets. I'm willing to bet every single game on the board, right? If I look at my sheet and it has a lot and there's a lot of discrepancies at the sports book, well, I'm going to make a lot of bets. But that's really not the case here. The only potential discrepancy here, I think, is the Colorado Avalanche, but we don't know if Cale Makar is going to play in this one. So I've adjusted the line here. As you might remember yesterday, the Avalanche were well over minus 300 according to the projection model, but today minus 164. I've ruled Cale Makar out for now. I mean, it's not a super important game. It is the Blackhawks. They should be able to get the win even without their best defenseman, their best player. So yeah, I mean, they probably aren't going to rush him back here. It sounds like he's dealing with a nagging injury. So I am ruling him out for now. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, the Avs, it seems square, but I could potentially, if Makar is in, now that this line has stuck around, I could consider, playing the puck line later, but nothing right now. I'm not going to lock that in right now. Um, Jake, what you think of the Habs' performance last night? I mean, this Winnipeg team, they are going to struggle to score goals sometimes without Kyle Connor in the lineup, and that was the case on Monday. Big win for the Habs. They continue to hurt their lottery odds, do they not?
Yeah, pretty much. I think most people expect them maybe not to be in the bottom five, but be right above the bottom five, and they're exceeding expectations. And the fact that they're doing it without Kirby Doc and without Alex Newhook is probably pretty uplifting for Habs fans. Um, but yeah, all the talk going into the game was how hot Winnipeg had been with Gabe Vilardi kind of exploding, and other players sort of picking up the slack for Connor. And Montreal got the job done. Justin Barron scored the winner against his brother, is in what is being affectionately called the Barron Bowl. Now that they've played, I think, 3 games now against each other. Morgan Barron playing for the Jets, so that was fun. But yeah, it was a fun game up and down. Winnipeg, clawed it back in the third, and yeah, it was a good game to watch.
Yeah, I made a mistake by not backing the Habs. Should have trusted the model. It was right on that game, and had a pretty sharp look on that one, but didn't act on it and paid the price. But like I said before, still happy with the results so far this season. Um, Yeah, I mean, looking at things here, I had Charlie McAvoy and Pavel Zacha in. That's not the case anymore because Charlie McAvoy is considered a game time decision. Zacha is in, though, according to Steve Conroy with the Boston Herald on Twitter. But of course, big addition to Team Canada, Matthew Patras. Am I saying that right, Jake? You're probably more up on the French than I am.
I saw his name briefly yesterday, and I scratched my head about it.
Oh,
I
I've been
would need to
struggling.
see it.
I've been struggling with it all
Yeah,
season
yeah,
long.
yeah. I don't remember how it's pronounced.
But yeah, he's been added to the World Junior team, Team Canada. The Bruins, kind of a. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I know injuries and whatnot. Are always a concern. And I've like as a Bruins fan, I think I've been really happy that they've, for the first time in a long time, had some young players come into the lineup, like him and John Beecher, that have, and even Laurie on defense have, kind of stepped up and filled some gaps. And That's been a big thing for the Boston Bruins this season. But yeah, taking him out of the lineup is gonna hurt the team down the stretch and hurt their offense a little bit. He's been good. So big addition for Team Canada, but big loss for the Boston Bruins. The projection you see on the screen, -203 in favor of Boston, that assumes that Charlie McAvoy and Pavel Zacha are both in. Of course, now we know that McAvoy is going to be a game time decision. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on this one. Oh, some news out of Buffalo. Jack Quinn, who suffered that Achilles injury before the season started. He's going to be making his season debut with the Sabres uh, against the Blue Jackets. He had 37 points in 75 games played in his rookie season. A lot of hype around this kid. People really like him, so be interesting to see if he can, follow in the footsteps of Zach Benson and make a big splash for the Sabres here, because they've got some need for that, because the Buffalo Sabres give up a lot of high danger chances, as my good friend Michael Lieboff of the Action Network's Line Change podcast pointed out on the latest episode. Um, he's given the Blue Jackets a look here today. Me, not so much. I can't. I can't get there. I think Buffalo, according to the model, should be priced at -164. So that's where we're at right now. Yeah, I mean, like, there's really everything's really close to my numbers. I show my numbers ahead of time, guys, and um, you saw them yesterday, so shouldn't be a surprise here that there isn't a whole lot going on. I'm gonna need the market to do its thing, maybe move some of these numbers a little bit, and then maybe if there's a disagreement where I think the line has moved too much, maybe I'll bet the other side. But right now, we're just on the Flyers. We got some awesome line value right now, well over 25 cents of line value. If Carter Hart starts, it'll stay that way, I'm sure. So yeah, Vitek Vanacek should be starting for the New Jersey Devils on Tuesday. But before we head over to look at Wednesday's NHL action, because like I said, I've got a bet for Wednesday's 3-game slate. Please like the video, helps out a ton. Share on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. That helps out as well. Helps spread the word. Leave your comments, any questions you might want to get answered before the holiday break that's coming up here. Connor says in the chat that he's ready to fade the new coach bump tonight for the Senators. So that new coach bump resulted in a little bit of a shift toward the Senators when it comes to the projection model. The Arizona Coyotes, they've got a 50.9, roughly a 51% chance of winning this game, according to the model. What are we seeing right now? We're seeing -119 in favor of the Senators, -102 on the side of the Coyotes. But hey, there's some +115 out here even. Wow, yeah, that's actually there's as good. +115 is the best price currently in market. I wouldn't say it's widely available, but it's available. Um, a lot of people have access to that sports book. +110. So yeah, it's Coyotes or nothing. If like so many sports books are +105, +105, even money. It's the +115 is an interesting price for sure. I'm kind of intrigued by that. And I full transparency, I'll probably find that one after the show and lock it in, but it doesn't really make sense to list that one as an official bet here, because yeah, it's gonna have to come down, or it's gonna have to come up here a little bit more. But yeah, +110 at that point, I'd really look at the Coyotes. I mean, look, the Sens have been good. I'll just pull up evolving hockey here really quickly. The Sens, they've been good, and um, there are some really strong things. They've shown some really strong play as of late, especially. So they are 10th in expected goals percentage at 5-on-5 over the last month. That's dating back to November 18th. They've scored just 48.6% of the goals at 5-on-5, though. And I believe they are even worse in all situations. So the Senators are eighth in expected goals percentage in all situations. They've scored just 43.9% of the goals in all situations. So unlucky, sure. But if you watch this team, yeah, they've got jump. They're a team that they stick together. They've got I think they're a team, right? They do have somewhat of an identity. They're not just thrown together. There is a team here, but overall, the defensive play not up to par. Where do they rank in expected goals per 60 minutes over the last? Um, yeah, so they rank really really well. They grade out really well here in expected goals per 60 minutes, but they're bottom 10 in goals against per 60 minutes right now, 3.42 per 60 minutes in all situations. It's just not working for the Senators between the goaltending and the defense. If their defense is playing good, the goaltending isn't. If the goaltending is playing good, the defense doesn't seem to be. It just they're not putting it all together right now. Now they've got a new coach. DJ Smith is out. Jacques Martin is in. It's 2004 all over again. It's Danny Alfredson in the assistant role. I'm gonna guess that the Senators they're gonna be up for this game. They've got a Sens legend, not only in the head coaching position, but they've got the best, the greatest player ever, or at least the best captain ever in Sens history, to lace them up. He's on the bench as well. So the team's going to be held to a higher standard, that's for sure. I mean, they're going to play up to their potential as much as they can, but I don't think they're a good hockey team. They're just decent, right? They don't have that. I don't think they have what it takes to get there to be a good team every single night. They're going to have good games. They're going to have bad games. They're just going to be one of those teams in the mushy middle. And they've had such an awful start that they're out of it. They're done. I didn't get a chance to update the playoff chances and whatnot as of today, but looking back at what I had yesterday, the Sens, where are they at? 4% chance to make the playoffs, stick a fork in it. But anyway, let's move on to Wednesday's 3-game slate. We have there's one game that I really want to talk about because it's the game that I'm going to lock a bet in on right now. And it's the Detroit Red Wings at plus 138. They're in Winnipeg taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Now, if it was the other way around and Winnipeg was in Detroit, I would, I'd be really, I'd almost guarantee that it's going to be Connor Hellebuck in the goal. He's from Michigan. So, likely he'd start in front of friends and family. But this game's in Winnipeg. There's a small chance that it's not Connor Hellebuck. I'm still projecting he'll be in goal. The Jets minus 117 favorite according to the projection model. That means the Red Wings are a plus 117 underdog according to the model. Of course, Dylan Larkin back in the lineup. JT Comfort back with the Red Wings. They're coming off another loss against the Anaheim Ducks. This one, they fell behind big time last night and couldn't get back into it. They've got to get it right. And this is a good spot to bet on them to do so. They're not a huge favorite. They're actually an underdog, a pretty sizable underdog at plus 138 at NorthStar Bets. I think that's a really good price. I could probably justify betting more than one unit. I'm just going to stick to the 1 unit play. 1 unit to win 1.38 units on the Red Wings. So yeah, that's my best bet for Wednesday. That is let's just have a look here at the Jets. Of course, they're without Kyle Connor, and they're going to struggle sometimes to score goals. Probably not against the Red Wings, but yeah, Detroit. Let's see. Over the last month, the Jets have ranked 14th in expected goals percentage, but they've got a 60% goal share. They've scored over 60% of the goals in their games in all situations. Things have been going really good for Winnipeg. 2.92 goals per 60, 1.92 goals against per 60. The Red Wings, their offense still continues to click, though. 3.52 goals per 60 over the last month. They're allowing a goal more than the Winnipeg Jets, though, per 60 minutes. So, obviously their goaltending not on par with that of the Jets. Connor Hellebuck, even Laurent Brossoit, Billy Husso, and James Reimer, but Alex Lyon. They're not. It's not on par with what the Jets have in Connor Hellebuck, but small chance that Hellebuck gets the night off. Maybe it is a home game, but Laurent Brossoit could find himself in the starter's crease. That would help out a lot. But regardless, there's enough value here to bet on the Winnipeg Jets and hope that their offense can, lead to an upset here, because the Jets, there's enough value to bet on the Detroit Red Wings. I believe I just said I was going to bet on the Winnipeg Jets, but we're betting on the Red Wings plus 138. I'm hoping that their offense can carry them over the Jets, because as we saw last night, they struggled to score goals versus the Montreal Canadiens. They struggled to score goals versus the San Jose Sharks a little while ago. They had that big game against the Winnipeg Jets. But as long as Kyle Connor is not in the lineup, this Jets team is going to be, they're going to have some problems on offense. It's just that simple. So best bet for Wednesday, Detroit plus 138. Let's go Red Wings. Get back in the win column. We'll hope that we can, start to end this week on a high note, because we've got a 3-day break here coming up with the holidays, and the puck portfolio will be, hoping to go in the holidays happy, a little bit extra dough in the pocket. But that pretty much does it for today's show. Jake, anything we should get to before we should get out of here, or is that it?
No, pretty much it. Everybody, the chat's quiet. Everybody's, waiting on your every word. But but yeah, hopefully we go into the holidays on a winning note, and everything works out. I will say about the new coach bump in Ottawa. I usually am a big believer of the new coach bump, but I watched a Habs team coached by Jacques Martin for many years. I think for a team that's that bad defensively, it's going to take a while for his whatever his effect may be. It's going to take a while for it to settle in, if it ever does. So yeah, I wouldn't really look forward to a new coach bump in Ottawa immediately.
Yeah, actually, before we get out of here, I should have sent this to you to put up on the screen, but um, I saw last night on Twitter. Um, so Megan Chaika from Stathletes, she will present some data from her company, Sport Logic, which is a proprietary hockey analytics company. They will present some data on her spots on TSN sometimes. And recently she put up goal differential above expected. So this is using the Sport Logic model, which has there's a lot more pre-shot factors than the public expected goals model. The stuff I talk about, evolving hockey, etc. There's a lot more nuance that goes into to this model that's presented by Sport Logic. But the Sens, their expected or goal differential above expected is minus 11.6. So yeah, they've been unlucky, but not so unlucky that they should be considered a good hockey team or anything like that. The Vancouver Canucks, the luckiest team in the league, plus 33.7 goal differential above expected. The Islanders plus 20.3. They're in second. Doesn't really surprise me all that much, given that the Islanders' underlying metrics are dreadful, but their goaltending and their finishing has been really good. That's why they've been sort of an over machine. That's why you're seeing a 7 on the board in their game versus the Oilers on Tuesday, because a lot of the Islanders games, especially as of late, have featured at least 7 goals, if not more. So that's something to look out for, as sure. But in the third spot is the Winnipeg Jets at plus 16.8 their goal differential above expected. So that's really interesting, and that probably has a lot to do with Connor Hellebuck. Their finishing talent, guys like Kyle Connor, but he's not in the lineup. So that'll be interesting to see what their numbers look like after this 6 to 8 week stretch without Kyle Connor in the lineup. hopefully we'll get an update from Sport Logic on that one. But yeah, that does it for today's show. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video if you're not already. Please subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Of course, we'll be looking ahead to Thursday's NHL odds. Good luck with your bets on Tuesday. I'll talk to you on Wednesday.